It is the night of the last operation. You have defeated multiple orc forces upon the planet with extreme fervor and might. Orc knights and two orc knights just tried to defeat your chapter. They were destroyed in the greatest of fights. You return to the Navis, relatively exhausted, but ready to go to the training camp to continue your melee training. As you place down your helmet and move to the cogitator, you notice multiple data logs as before. Whoever sends these messages must either be high ranking or really wants to help us. You contact the technovitiate within the Navis, Asmodai, to simply look at the cogitator, wondering if it was been destroyed, hacked, or, in this case, violated. He says it hasn't been. This concerns both of you, so you send over you ask for Knight Veteranus to come to verify any information you may find upon the cogitator. These stories seemingly come out of nowhere and have constantly been on your mind. Each one tells of strange events and a chapter of unknown people that has been lost to time. Memories that have been locked away since the oldest days of thousands of 2,000 years ago seem to come back with fervor, but everything's blurred. Your memory slighted and is perturbed. Within the devout cogitator, you find 6 new messages, each one of different import and stories, each one having its own history, time, and importance. Within these 6 stories may hold keys to your past and the past of other chapters and the secrets of such. The 6 are as given. The first one is the audiologue of the Dark Angels chaplain from the old heresy. This chaplain seemingly has been dead for a long time, so it is unknown where he is, where he died. It seems to be a port of some sort from an old world, one that hasn't been found for a long time. The second dated log is of the unknown chapter you seemingly constantly hear about. The symbols and names have been blurred out due to corruption within your mind and upon the cogitator. Seemingly the warp has infected it, leaving nothing but traces. It also is made by unknown source, but through the pictures and Asmodai's great work, you have found out that the person writing this was a contemptor dreadnought, a relic of the bygone ages. The third dialogue is of an Imperial Fist captain, after the seemingly timed right after the rescue of Rogel Dorn, our Primarch. Seemingly, it is a report upon the Dark Angel's strange happenings and the Imperial Fist's first captain. The fourth data log is of Daeron, our Forge world. The Mechanicus report, short and sweet. The fifth one is a story upon the Navis, right after the end of the exile. And the sixth is a story of of a strange yet unknown chapter. The one you notice seems to be filled with chaos markings. You ensure the Knight Veteranus knows of this, and each one of you prepare for the stories ahead. It is up to you to choose what is heard and what is found. Make your choice. Open the audio log, and all you see is corruption and strange happenings. You hear whispers through your mind as your connection with the warp seems to meld and gray. Whatever this audio log is, it holds no good information. The Knight Veteranus, a veteran of such whispers, holds you down, helps you calm yourself before you read upon whatever blasphemous information we find in this strange audio log. Within the audio log states the captain of the 8th Company. The Legion is unknown, but it is definite that it is some sort of chaos company. The audio log is rambling. The person on the other side seems to hold nothing, seems to just not be able to make coherent sentences. Constant ramblings about other demons and strange happenings and other things continue. This captain is crazed. His eyes are bloodshot. His pupils extinct. His body shakes, and he holds an axe in his other hand, bloodied and broken. This 8th Company captain is unknown. You not know his face, and only one will, but you dare not ask about those times from him. As the person you think of, is currently working on an old project. This captain, upon the audio log, also has a data log accompanying with. It seems to really be a report of an old time, a compliance action upon the word of 7/7. This 7/7 had a cult upon it of the blood god Korn. His name be ever damned. This cult seemingly fought back ferociously against this legion, and the legion seemed to have been perturbed and disturbed by its strange ferocity. The captain goes into, after calming himself and seemingly removing whatever was hitting his mind, explains that the bloody massacre even was too much for him, and he had dealt with so many before. He tells that his count is now over 600 deaths, and looks. The word cannot be said to see how Nastartes will look after this, but one from a human emotions can be seen as fearful. Somehow, whatever this cult did, destroy this mind of this Astartes, cause more pain than counted. The data log ends in a brief but swift corruption. There's nothing left except for redacted words and strange messages, each one indecipherable from the last in old languages. You even see that some of the old languages are Terran in nature, but they're ununderstandable. The data log is ended. As you close it, you feel a coldness in your spine. End of log. The second data log is above the unknown chapter you have been searching for the past 2 years. Your campaigns have led you to find information upon this old ship, the Wrath of Sigismund. This ship was once known as a Black Templar ship, but you cannot, under any circumstance, no matter how much evidence may be, combine both this unknown chapter and the Wrath of Sigismund. There's no correlation, no evidence, nothing. You simply know as a ship of unknown past. You try to find information upon the ship from the command of the Concilium Militus. They hold everything back. The Forge Master does not speak of it at all. The Captain Domini seems to not even recognize it. The House Novitius leader seems to give information about it as it was a great ship, one of a large battle barge class, and was one of the greatest in the fleet, but gives no more information than that. House Brown leader does the same. The leader of Librarius is simply silent, seemingly not wanting to speak of the information, and you must move on. As you read forward, you see the data log seems to be about what have the fate of the Wrath of Sigismund. It is unknown what planet it landed on, nor was it signal or distress signal, but what you have found was its damaged logs. As you go forward, you see that around out of the 500 members of the Great Astartes chapter and Crusade, there seems to be none left on the ship. Ship's internal cogitators have been to such an extent that information can only be routed and found by skilled workers of the warp. The main reactor has been completely sabotaged and is completely non-functional. Weapons array completely damaged. Engines 50% power and holding. Internal life support systems 100% seemingly undamaged somehow after all this time. Though the one that concerns you is the internal armory data log. It seems as if all the weapons within are there, but as you take a look upon the pictures within the data log, each weapon looks corrupted, slagged, discarded. It seems as if the bolters had literally melted and the armor had become completely dysfunctional. You see rust and iron upon ceramite armor, and bolters that seem that barrels have simply fallen out. As you look towards the ammo crates, you find they're empty, as if someone had used them all up in the last stand. The armory is silent. No more information on Wrath of Sigismund in the data log, but there is a report from a Contemptor dreadnought. The report states that this Contemptor was the Forge Master of the Strange Crusade. The only reason you can even think of the rank is because you had one. You have one yourself. Seemingly, he decrypted it out of nowhere. Contemptor stated the deaths and sorrow within him as brothers died, and the sorrow that he had abandoned his great ship. But some sort of event had caused him to move out of the ship and forward. And all you know is that the Wrath of Sigismund somehow came out of the warp itself and landed upon a desolate planet. The coordinates you found last time upon fighting against Chaos forces, World Eaters Legion, if I remember correctly. You now move towards this new goal, figuring out your past and remembering the lost, for the fallen, for those that we have lost. End of story. The data log found the fourth message, one of interest, seemingly is from a Mechanicus database. The information within seems to be about a Titan Legio, one you have met before upon the Forge World data log, the one you are allied with, the Crimson Legion. Within the data log shows maintenance logs and strange happenings, such as resources in the hundreds of thousands of tons being sent to a manufactorum halfway across the planet, and Titans being deployed even though there is no credible threat on the surface of the planet. It seems someone has found an unknown assailant upon the planet. As you go further, you see overseer logs dating back to M30, M41. This overseer seemingly has found some sort of technology and wants it. Not safe for certain. The Magos Vroperion of the third company and Legio seemingly has allied himself with the overseer, wanting to figure out this new ancient technology and hoping it is a golden age relic. Energy waves and strange frequencies they have found have collaborated with the new data logs. Figure out those frequencies, those signals, those strange happenings all correlate with a Necron tomb world underneath the planet. Only hindsight is 2020. You know what happened. But there, when that tomb world erupted. Seemingly, your chapter was able to stop it, and thankfully you have a Forge world. But you still do not know the source of corruption and why the Overseer seemingly wanted to use Necron technology. The data log does not go further into this, but you begin to form effectively a puzzle in your head. The Overseer found technology they wanted. They seemingly wanted it more than anything else, including betrayal of the Mars. Now you must move forward to figure out the more of the stories. The audio log is of a Dark Angel's captain, one of the, I believe, if you remember your wings correctly, Iron Wing. They're elite stormtroopers, predators, and effectively their vehicular core. The Iron Wing captain is from the Horus Heresy. The date upon the audio log is ancient, but you will recognize it. M30-27284. About 5 years after the founding of Dorn. The planet they seem to be on is Sevita, a planet of one you know. You read it upon one of the data logs. Seemingly, this Dark Angel's captain had a joint operation with the World Eaters Legion. This captain, in the report, comes to a grisly realization. At first, the captain simply speaks of the compliance action, that there were some strange cults on the planet, one of a strange symbol. You recognize the symbol as the symbol of Khorne, the blood god himself. What you do realize is that this compliance is more than just unusual. As you go deeper into the data log, you find out strange resupplies happen. Stormy goes off course. Predators simply ceasing function after no intervals. Laser vindicators blowing their fuses, leaving them derelict and lost. Hell, a Legion glaive was sent in to take care of a strange contraption the size of a knight. The Legion glaive backfired, killing the crew and causing a massive explosion. A report is at the bottom of the data log about a World Eater's captain. This captain is 8th Company. He, the Angel, is concerned of the strangeness of the captain. Captain, by the report, is erratic, lost and confused, and has been having strange. The word would be fits. Sometimes the captain is perfectly logical and tame, and is completely tactically correct. The next moment, he's a bloodthirsty berserker killing hundreds of civilians. The captain is worried and sends the report to the Lion himself to figure out inter-legion politics. The data log ends in a prayer to the Gene spirits and a thankfulness to the God, to the Emperor himself. The end of data log. Audio log 3. The story within is about a Imperial Fist captain. The captain is of the 5th Company, and you know him from a long time. This captain you've heard upon many occasions after all these data log readings. His name is Sol. He's the 5th captain of the company, and he has been there since the Unification Wars. Tumultuous life notwithstanding. The audio log within the data log seems to be a messages between the chief librarian of the Dark Angels and the captain himself. Seemingly they are friends of sorts, but it's unknown. Messages detail reports from each legion, how they are, how they're doing, what's the kind of compliance action, such and such. Lovely. Sol goes into detail about how he's currently in one of the best moods he's had since his childhood, if you even remember it. The Primarch is with him. He's spoken with the Primarch himself and feels jubilated. As for the Chief Librarian, he is more than just perturbed. He explains the current happenings of a joint operation between the World Eaters Legion and the Dark Angels. Of course, something wrong happened. He explains that the World Eaters seem to be being affected by some sort of warp energy, but he can't pinpoint it. And there were demons and warp energies across the whole entire planet. Rare for even the planet, rare for Terra, but extremely dangerous for any other planet. These things perturb each side, and both watch each other closely after that. The data log goes into detail how the 5th Company is going up in rank. The 5th Company captain is going up in ranks extremely quickly, and seems to have no end. He's gone from the 7th Company to the 5th, and soon, as you look down, he's become 3rd Company captain. There's also a report of an incident happening. The incident is explained to be against the 1st Company captain, Sigismund, of the veteran Templars. Sigismund, wanting a fight and simply wanting to assist in a compliance action, sent his forces in without thinking, causing multiple Astartes' deaths, and one to be interred in the Contemptor Dreadnought. This Dreadnought's name is unknown, as it seems to be even redacted from your mind, as the warp energies around you seem to cause it to be blurred. The report comes from the 5th Company captain, as he explains Sigismund is becoming far more wily. He's become extremely dangerous, as he is wanting to go into more melee fights, and has caused not only problems in his own company, but in other companies, including deaths. These problems seem to continue on forever. Though there's been reports of changes within his demeanor. Nothing more is said. End of story. An unfortunate happenstance happens as you're about to look into the 5th audio log. The cogitator itself breaks open, fizzing out, and its machine within dying. The machine spirit itself screaming out in pain and screeching. Asmodai, trying to calm the spirit, gives its incantations and litanies. But it is of no use. The cogitator dies upon impact, as warp energies pour from it like a fountain. The Knight Veteranus next to you is able to calm it and remove the energies within, but it is of no use. The cogitator is completely destroyed. The Forge Master is called and sent in as you leave, wondering of each story, hoping to figure out the puzzles within, wondering what happened in the past and what may happen in the future.